Hello everyone, this is TvZ here. I am going to be casting a 1 versus 1, and you guessed it, it's going to be Liquid TLO down here in the bottom left side. He is going to be your Terran, and his opponent is going to be none other than ATN Darkforce, he's not something, he is someone who has been getting a lot of attention lately. I've been trying to find more of his replays as he has been giving a pretty good showing lately in some recent games posted around the internets. So when I saw that it was going to be TheLittleOne versus him, I was like, what better way to see how he does versus a very powerful Terran opponent? And yes, TheLittleOne is now officially Terran, which most of you know that. It's old news. I'm sure you've been told 1,000 times. But he changes so often that you never know exactly what he's going to do as far as what race he's going to play. However, I do want to mention really quickly, before I forget, this just dawned on me again, TheLittleOne is going to be doing a charity live stream where he's going to be playing tons and tons of games. And how it works is all you have to do is watch the live stream, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to donate or anything like that, because the live streams, sometimes they play commercials, and that money is going to go directly to, I believe it's Doctors Without Borders. So I don't know the exact link to it, but I will be posting it down below. So I believe it is this coming Sunday, and yeah, I'll post a link down below. So definitely check that out, guys. Watching live streams, always a good idea, and you can see exactly how the pros do it. And which better live stream to watch than TheLittleOne? I can think of no one better, as there is going to be a second Rax on the way for TheLittleOne. And I'm curious on the timing of this. Is he going to do an early rush? Because this is definitely going to be scouted right away. This drone's going to get here and be like, aha! I have seen everything you've done already, TheLittleOne, so I know what is potentially headed my way. But again, the 2 Rax openers, really darn good, man. It's good against Zerg, it's good against Protoss. You do alter the build a little bit versus Zerg compared to the Protoss one. You don't really need those Marauders, just mostly focused on Marines that you can micro around quite easily and set up a bunker. This SCB just being annoying, drilling this hatchery, which is illegal in 38 states. Fun fact, but he is apparently in one of the legal states where you can sit here and drill this all day long. We do have the spawning pool on the way now for Darkforce, so the timing of this is definitely an early expansion into spawning pool. Not a bad build on this map. You just got to look out for things like the Marine rushes, which we do have 2 Marines on the way, and Hellion Harass is something that can be very frustrating to go against, but so can running Zerglings into the expansion of your opponent as well. That can be extremely frustrating. So this will be interesting, as one player's fast expanding, one player's putting on that early pressure. TheLittleOne gonna be that guy who is going to be a Marine SCV rushing. Does look like Darkforce forced to pull all of his drones off the line. I guess this isn't all of them. That was a slight exaggeration. Will be forced to run these drones back. This drone, oh, he's only got 7 HP. He does not want to eat another lead jacket. Why would you eat a lead jacket? That didn't even make any sense. But the Zerglings are now out. Will be cleaning up these Marines, it looks like. Although the TheLittleOne is microing around quite heavily. Will force the cancel on this bunker. This rush is no more. Zerg players know how to hold this off perfectly these days. And that's exactly what we're witnessing, is a perfect reaction by our Zerg player to clean this up. TheLittleOne frantically trying to kill these Zerglings. That is not going to happen. The SCV right here not able to do any damage either. And the Spine Crawler, didn't even need the Spine Crawler for Darkforce. Most likely we'll let that finish anyways, just for in case the attack continues. Also, you can position this in a way that it can defend against that Hellion Harass. And now Darkforce most likely going to start droning up here. TheLittleOne's expansion timing going to be a little bit off, as he does have a couple extra minerals here, and the attack didn't really do anything there. You can see 450 minerals lost. Most of those are going to be Marines, which that is not what you want to be losing this early in the game, but by no means is he out. It's just that harassment did virtually nothing, is really what it comes down to. However, a lot of Terran players can get away with that early harassment just because, you know, it's only a couple Marines. In the long, if the game descent goes mid to late game, those few Marines do not really matter all that much. The Zergling run by, not really going to be running into anything unless he can somehow sneak past the supply depot. Is TheLittleOne going to allow that to happen? Of course he's not. He's TheLittleOne, so he's going to raise that up. And at the same time, though, his Marines have moved out all the way across the map. And TheLittleOne does love Marines, and we will see if one Spine Crawler is enough to hold this off. I don't think it will be, but Darkforce spawning more Zerglings. You can see 10 more Zerglings on the way, a couple of them just now spawning. Nice reaction time by Darkforce. Really got to hand it to him, keeping those drones alive the entire time. And may lose his Queen, though, as TheLittleOne is getting closer and closer. Queen's pretty darn fast on creep. You can see surviving there with just 7 HP. The positioning of this is going to really favor the Terran player. Darkforce definitely did not want to commit there if he didn't have to. He will be losing the Spine Crawl, it looks like, although Darkforce reacting again very well. Just buying time with these Zerglings to allow the Spine Crawl to burrow. However, he did not get us around on these, so the Little One able to micro to the best of his ability, and it looks like he's even going to hold off that defense. I'm almost afraid to look at the units lost tab here, as the Little One still has lost slightly more. I think part of that is going to be that bunker he canceled, though. And trying to go for this Overlord, that is not going to happen, as Zergling's eating a Marine breakfast. And, yeah, Marines, extremely nutritious, all you little baby Zerglings out there. So you should eat at least one Marine every morning. There is going to be a Baneling nest on the way. Now, we are quickly approaching that. I love how my voice, I swear one of these days I will go through puberty. My doctor tells me it should have already happened, but I don't believe him. I think he's lying to me. But we are quickly approaching around that 10 to 11 minute mark, where a Zerg player is looking to expand, but the Little One has put on so much pressure that it's almost like a sumo wrestler sitting on a baby is how much pressure was going there. But Darkforce has held, and if we look at the workers killed, the Little One has killed 0 workers, while Darkforce has killed 2. Those were kind of the rushing SCVs he was able to take out. So, very good reaction by Darkforce. I mean, that was a lot of pressure from the Little One, and to not lose a single drone, to only lose Zerglings, thumbs up, Darkforce. Thumbs up to you. And also, he is going to be going for Mutalisks off of 2 base, so I don't know that he's going to be able to expand easily, just because if his opponent, the Little One, decides to keep putting on that pressure. Could be difficult. Now, does he have a lot of gas saved up? Only 100, but, I mean, these Spires take forever. They do have a build time of 100. So, Darkforce does now just transferring all of his drones to his gas. So he does have 12 drones mining that gas. So he will have a lot of gas saved up for those mutas. And I'm really curious, will the Little One be prepared for this? Because he does have a lot of Marines, which are pretty darn good. He will have stim pack by the time this attack gets here with those Mutalisks. So that's a very important thing in regards to this. I don't know if he has an engineering bay, and there's those Zerglings harassing the expansion like I was talking about, trying to get greedy here, trying to get a couple SCV kills. Wasn't able to do all that much. However, Darkforce does know exactly what he's going against, and that is a lot of Marines with shields and stim backed up by those medevacs. So instead of going Marine Marauder, it is Marine Medevac is the flavor of the day for the Little One. And this can be really good if you can survive those pesky Banelings, which are something that I expect to see from Darkforce here. The Little One is going to continue to put on pressure here, just being so aggressive this game. He is not letting Darkforce just sit back and macro up at all, which is really sometimes how you have to play against a Zerg who does prefer to go macro. Now, Baneling speed not quite done yet. There is only going to be 2 Banelings here. Now, the Little One is microing to a very powerful position. If he can kill these Banelings before they get there, they're getting so close, though, but they are going to do a lot of damage to the Marines. This time, did he not lose a single drone there again? I gotta see this. He has not lost a single drone, but may lose the hatchery. The Queen gotta try and buy just a couple of seconds, but it is not gonna be enough. Here come the drones right now. This is where he's gonna start losing drones. Although he is focusing down the hatchery, is he gonna get it? It is so close. 22 HP, 12 HP, 3 HP remains on that hatchery. 1 Marine over here trying to run in here. He has used stim pack to try and get it, and he will not get it as Transfuse was able to save that hatchery. The Little One says LOL, and the Transfuse going to save it from that 1 hero Marine trying to take it out. So our Zerg player now looking to be in good shape. Did he lose a single drone there? Still has not lost a drone. What a total boss that Darkforce is proving to be in this game. And what he has to look out for, though, is these siege tanks being protected by the Marines, because the siege tanks take a lot of damage from Banelings if the Banelings decide to attack the siege tank rather than the Marines. Because if you look at the damage of a Baneling, once one finishes here, it does, versus light, 35 damage. Otherwise, it just does 20, which I'm no math genius, but 35 is greater than 20. I don't know by what percent, but it is quite a bit. And also, Mutalisks, a lot of people wonder, why do you get Mutalisks with Banelings? That's just because you fly the Mutas in, all the Marines are sitting there shooting them for a second, and then that allows the Zerglings to get us around, as well as the Banelings to try and roll in there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him stop Mutalisk production. We've kind of seen that already. Doesn't have that many, although I am surprised to see +1 attack. So maybe he does plan to continue doing that, because getting +1 attack for 5 Mutas, to me that's kind of questionable on if it's worth it or not. But I do like the Little One here, going to be getting out the siege tanks, which you can really use. You can drop them right here, which is so frustrating to deal with, which is kind of why you need Mutalisks on this map, as a Terran player can easily secure the center. And what do we have going on in the Terran player's base? We do have just a couple of racks, and more racks going down, as well as the factories, which we could see continue production of those siege tanks. Wouldn't even be surprised to see a third factory go down, as we have seen that time and time again from Terran players. Because if you're just spending all your resources on Marines, that leaves you with a lot of gas, which is what we're seeing here. But here comes a lot of banelings have rolling in here. Those siege tanks are going to be on the high ground. No anti-air to kill these fully loaded medevacs. And as I was saying, he did indeed drop on the high ground, so he will secure this location. It's going to be so frustrating for the Zerg player, because every time the Terran player runs back, he just takes so much splash damage. The banelings got to be rolling in here, not able to do the damage they need to, though, as the Marines are just booking it, not even trying to attack for a while. One more baneling will clean up a couple of Marines, but now the drop, oh, it's not a drop, it's more of medevacs just chilling out over there. However, the Mutalisk did swoop in there and kill out one siege tank, but he does need to be careful with these, as Darkforce has 5 more Mutalisks on the way. Pretty good for harassment, but not the best for defending this high aggression from the Little One, and does force the cancel there. Has he killed a single drone yet? Still 0 drones killed here at 15 minutes into a game. Darkforce thankfully built a third hatchery in his main expansion, but the problem is that it is now a 2-base Zerg versus a 2-base Terran. It's been that for the entire time. So even if the Little One's not able to put a nail in the coffin, he is slowly suffocating his opponent instead by burying them alive in that same coffin. And you know what? That's just as good, as this, though, is a lot of mutas. It's going to be up to Darkforce to get out enough Zerglings on the ground to absorb damage while the mutas kill the units on the ground, because if you just use Mutalisks and straight up mutas, Marines will just tear through them. It's very important. This +1 armor attack, very important on the Zerglings. The +1 attack does add damage to the Baneling explosions as well, making them slightly more effective versus those siege tanks. And we do finally, for Darkforce, have his third base, looks like for now, safely going down, and still has yet to kill these rocks. Please don't use those Banelings on them. Oh, I really hope those Banelings aren't trying to explode there, as that would be the biggest waste of banelings I think I have ever experienced. There they go. They finally stopped rolling around, making me nervous. This expansion is now open to expanding there, as he did kill those rocks. And the Little One, I think as soon as he spots this expansion, will be able to lock it down. However, the Little One does have his planetary fortress on the way at this very important and almost impervious to kill location, the high yield expansion in the center. The Zerglings are going to get us around here. Banelings cleaning that one up. That was a little group of renegade soldiers trying to just win the game by themselves, trying to scout out if there's an expansion there. There was not, which you can see our Zerg player is going to be ahead in supply. Not a huge deal, though, as 61 SCVs to only 46 workers for Darkforce. And you can see production tab is showing, was that 32 Zerglings? There they are, and only 2 drones, which, I mean, his opponent, who is Terran, is making more workers at a time than a Zerg player. Not a good scenario. This is a lot of mutas, however, and this can do a lot of damage if the Little One is not prepared. He does have only 1 missile turret here and 2 missile turrets, 3 missile turrets there, so he is going to be prepared for that. Does have a couple of Thors on the way as well, so Darkforce needs to be careful not to get out too many mutalisks. Here comes the attack right now, though, as the nope, just kidding, got a little excited. I was going to say he probably should not run into that, because Planetary Fortress, pretty good against Zerglings, as they do that splash damage. How much is it again? 40 damage versus Zerglings with that splash damage. Absolutely bananas, considering that Zerglings only have 35 HP. And we do have a lot of Banelings being morphed in right now. Our Zerg player is macroing exceptionally well, staying on top of his resources and just keeping those numbers low. However, he is going to be going against the almighty Thor. Thor is here. Thor is here again. But we do have Hive Tech on the way, and this expansion surprisingly unchecked by the Little One. I don't know if he's scouted this or not. He has not. He does see the creep down here, but to him, that is just a creep tumor spread. Doesn't know about that expansion for sure. We'll be cleaning out these creep tumors right here, trying to force the Zerg player out of position. Now, Darkforce has not been able to take that high yield expansion. However, Darkforce does have this expansion over here. Income tab still favoring the Terran, because high yield expansions turns out are pretty good, especially once you're dropping mules there, just to mine that out as quickly as possible. And 2 siege tanks in this medevac dropping on the high ground again. This is so smart, so difficult to do it. The Marines now running up here. Do we finally see a drone kill? Still not a single drone killed by the Little One. And picking up the Thors there, nice. Aren't going to allow them to get surrounded. Here comes the attack with the Zerglings. The splash damage from the tanks will be phenomenal. But can Darkforce clean out all of this? Is flying the Mutas down here to try and clean this up. The two Thors in the medevac are like, don't drop me, don't drop me, don't drop me, as they would die instantly. Darkforce is out for blood right now, though the little one does need to micro his Marines. He does a little bit, but leaving half of them to their demise. And these Thors will hold this off. Really surprised by Darkforce. Able to do a lot of damage there. One thing he should maybe try and do, though, is poke in here with those Mutalisks. That is something a lot of Zerg players do on this map because it's really difficult to cover this base with the Thors as well as missile turrets. And just with this one thing he could potentially do, of course, easy for me to say as I'm just sitting up here in my little observer booth, in my lazy boy chair, in my Snuggie, being like, yeah, you should do this. But so far, Darkforce's multitasking has been pretty good, able to hold off attacks quite easily and prevent the little one from really getting much map control, and still has not lost a single worker. 21 minutes into a game, that deserves a round of applause as well as an award, like safest worker award or something. Like, treats his workers well. You know how there's always like magazines where it's like safest place to work? If there was one for StarCraft, it would be in Darkforce's army, as he has not lost a single worker, not even a scouting drone. That just shows you how much he cares on a personal level about this. But right now, this is getting dangerous for the little one, as there's going to be 6 infestors on the way, soon to be Broodlords, which I feel like Broodlords may be enough to win the game if Darkforce can hang on long enough, because it is 143 supply to 172. I think we just saw some drone kills. Yes, we did, folks. Finally, some drones do go down at the 23-minute mark in the game. Not too shabby, though, by Darkforce, keeping those alive so long. So Darkforce does need to be careful here. Get away from those Thors, as the splash damage is too much for him to handle. He's trying to rush towards those Broodlords, but as you can see, there's a very scary moment where Darkforce's supplies are not going to be very high, and part of the reason is number one, he's losing all these drones, which he needs to evacuate out of there immediately, but also because since he is going for the Broodlords, he's also going to be going for Neural Parasite, just to be using it on those Thors, which could prove to be pretty effective. Maybe try Neural Parasite a siege tank as well. But I think the important thing is fungal growthing on the Marines, is to take those out and letting the Broodlords do their dirty work to the rest of the army. 2 Broodlords are going to be on the way. Upgrades are showing 1 attack on the Thors, and the reason he has that is because he also has siege tanks as well. And where's a Marine I can click on to see what he's got going on? He has 2 attack and 2 armor as well, so not looking too bad there. Upgrades for Darkforce, 1 attack on the air. Ground is 2 attack, 1 armor, so he is going to be pretty behind in upgrades here in the next couple of minutes. However, he will have Broodlords, and the little one does not have a single unit on the map that is decent against Broodlords. Not yet, anyways. He does have some Vikings on the way right now. Now, this does get to a very peculiar situation. This is a very interesting game to learn from, because Darkforce has Broodlords, which are insanely good against units on the ground. Oh, Fungal Growth, they're going to catch 3 of the Vikings. Infested Terran's going to try and clean these up. I don't know if Fungal Growth is going to last long enough, but that one definitely will. That was amazing play right there by Darkforce. One thing you can do is Neural Parasite and land those units. That does cost 100 energy, which is, you know, about a Fungal Growth and an Infested Terran. So that's something I saw Smanishiwa do, and I'm always hoping I get to see that again, where he landed the Vikings that he mind controlled just so he could kill them with Zerglings. Pretty phenomenal stuff, though. 195 supply for the little one. A lot of that is going to be on the Thors. The splash damage from the Fungal Growth, almost able to clean those Marines up, but the Banelings say, you know what, we do way more damage than that. No big deal. And yeah, so much larva by Darkforce right here. What is he going to spend this on? As his supply has been hovering at 160 for a while. He is working on Broodlords, which are great, but he just needs to make sure to have enough anti-air. I feel like he needs to either mix in some roaches or something here just to make this army finalized, because look at these tech units he has. He has Mutalisks, Corruptors, and Broodlords and Infestors, but really nothing for the bulk of his ground army. He decides to go with it, though. I believe he just lost every single Mutalisk to the splash damage of those Thors. Is mind controlling 1 Thor and focusing down those siege tanks right now. However, it has been broken. Does mind control it once again to try and clean it up. He is doing a lot of damage to these tanks with the Thor, and he's trying to do the splash damage on the Vikings as well. Just needs to make sure to keep reducing units right here. He does have 5 Corruptors as well as 2, I believe those were Infestors before they disappeared off of there. So Darkforce showing us a style where you don't have that much supply of units, but you do have a very tech-heavy amount of units in your army. So Infestors, things like that. Looks like the Zergling's trying to harass here. Is this 2 Ghost Academies? It is, people. As the little one going to be going for that. Also getting that Ghost Cloaking and the Mobius Reactor at the same time, which means which means these ghosts are going to be spawning with a lot of energy to EMP on these infestors. I don't know if we're going to see a nuke. I really don't know. But if you have 2 Ghost Academies, that usually means yes. I'm whispering that because I don't want to scare my neighbors with the excitement of the Little One killing a Zerg player with nukes. However, Darkforce does have a lot of units on the ground, a lot of infestors, throws out 1 infested Terran to scout out that watchtower. So this is the Baneling and Infestor. What a happy little couple these two are. You know what? They say their love is forbidden because they both die when they attack things. But you know what? Their relationship is just explosive, so let's not judge them. But however, what we should be judging is the Little One's position in this game. He is almost mined out at all of his bases. He's nearly maxed out in supply as well. But he is only mining from 1 base right now. And you can see it is one hell of an SCV party down here. More SCVs transferring. You know what would be the most terrifying thing of all time? 1 infestor sneaking its way down here and fungal growthing these SCVs. Probably the biggest SCV massacre of all time. That would go down in the history books of StarCraft. It would just be called the SCV Massacre or something like that. As, ooh, did he just EMP all these? Yes. Yes, he did EMP all of them. Almost all the infestors now have no energy. And do we have nukes on the way? Did I miss that? Yes, I did miss that. There is going to be 1 nuclear missile in this silo. And again, the infested Terrans, our infestors down here, would clean that out. There's going to be a nuke going down right there. Does our Zerg player know about it? I think that he does, even moving that Overlord. The drones are going to be going down as well. Back up. You need to back up here, Darkforce. He doesn't see the red dot, and here it comes. He is. Oh, no. Just losing that entire army. Darkforce says GG and immediately leaves the game. After that, you know what, guys? Let's go ahead. You guys may all be pooping yourselves a little bit. Let's just go ahead and relive that moment. And I guess this one will go down in the history books. And that's one thing the Little One has done in the past, is he just nukes in somewhere that, because usually what you want to do is you hear a nuke, you want to move all your units. The Little One just nukes in random spots and hopes you run into it, which is exactly what we saw. And where was that attack? Right here. So it is 196 supply to 1. I'm going to pause it really quick. 191 to 147. But, I mean, look at this. 7 Broodlords, 11 Corruptors, which could be morphed into Broodlords at any time. A lot of Infestors. And while there is a supply advantage here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of 50, I'm pretty good at math. There is a 20 of that is just SCVs. And a lot of it's ghosts, which are peculiarly, apparently that's my word of choice today, pretty good against Zerg if you use the snipe ability, as well as that EMP. So here we go. We're going to watch it again. Zerg player evidently does not realize this is here. I wonder if I go to the view of him. Like, he's right there on the dot. He's just not paying attention to it. And then all of a sudden, here comes the nuke. All those units go down, and he types in that GG. Wow, what a crazy good game. So anyways, guys, make sure to follow the, I think it's called Players Without Borders is the name of the live stream, but it's going to Doctors Without Borders, which are an amazing charity. I will post a link down below to that live stream. If not, you guys should be able to find it quite easily. It's just the Little One's live stream. I have faith that you can find that. It is going to be this Sunday, and hopefully I'll post down the times below as well if future Husky remembers to put that in there. If not, guys, let current Husky know in the comments below that he forgot to put a link to it, as well as the time zone that it will be played at what time. And yeah, that's going to be that. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys next time. At least I hope so, because if none of you came back next time and my video got 0 views, I would just watch it by myself and be like, I could see why you guys did not come back. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.